Welcome to the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey, and once again, I'm with my dad, Stephen Harvey. How you doing today, Dad?
Hey, I'm great.
All right, today is Sunday, July 31st, and we're here. We're doing a morning show. We haven't done one of these probably in a long time. We recorded one.
You ever done a morning show?
I think we've recorded one back in the day, but this is the first live morning show that we've ever done.
Wow.
It's 9:07 in the morning. This is definitely new territory for us.
I'm wide awake.
But I want to start off with the first topic today. The Cardinals have removed the independent clause from Kyler Murray's contract due to a distraction that it caused. That's the reason why the Cardinals took it away. With Kyler Murray simply having a statement, because when this big story broke out, he created an impromptu meeting, an impromptu news conference to talk to the media personally about his thoughts on the matter. He basically said, "To think that I can accomplish everything that I have accomplished in my career and not be a student of the game and not have that passion and not take this serious is disrespectful, and it's almost a joke." So what do you think? What's your reaction to the situation thus far and what Kyler Murray has to say?
I think the Cardinals have proven they're scared of Kyler Murray, and they'll do pretty much whatever he says.
Really?
Yeah, and I think that that's a bad situation. That would never happen with an organization like the Patriots, where the leadership, the organization makes the decisions about the team and the contracts, not the players.
Right.
And this to me shows that, that the players are making the decisions there. I don't think that bodes well for the organization, that they would do something like that. Now, why they put that clause in there to begin with, I guess they were sending him a message. He must have had an issue. They must have thought there was an issue with that, or they wouldn't have put it in there to begin with, right?
And I think
so
that's
the
a good
fact that he
starting point.
says this stuff, well, he must have proven back in the day there, playing for them, that he's made mistakes that he wouldn't have made if he'd spent a little more time studying the film.
Right, and
So
I think that's a good starting point of why was it even in the contract in the first place?
yeah,
And not only that, you signed the contract. You sat down and signed the contract, and you didn't know that it was in there. So, I mean, how much of the blame is on you for signing something? And then the Cardinals are saying, "Oh, distraction caused by the meet." Well, obviously, how many quarterbacks have this problem where you have to sign basically a right to study film? That's kind of a given with the job you get. So to have to sit down there and have basically in your contract be forced to study film only 4 hours a day, I think we start with why would they even put that in the contract?
4 hours a day?
Or so 4 hours a week. 4 hours a week. So that's even worse. But like, why even have that in a contract at all if you're already doing it?
It's obvious he wasn't doing it.
Right,
he wasn't preparing for the games the way they thought he should. And for the NFL, this is the Premier League. This is the tops. This is the best. This is the world class, right? You got to be world class in your preparation too. And obviously, he's not.
I mean, and I think Kyler Murray's saying, I mean, no, I'll give it this. He handled the situation very, very well. Originally, when he was trying to, he started an impromptu news conference. He had to talk about, his stance. The fact that he actually did that, I mean, for me, I would have rather just said, yep, I know. The way it looks in the contract makes me seem like I haven't studied film, which, you know what? They're right. I probably should have studied a little bit more film. I mean, you saw
Did
late.
he say that?
No, I'm just saying he should have said that.
Yeah.
I mean, you see late in the season where they were like what 7-0, 8-0, and then all of a sudden they just fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
They were riddled a little bit with injuries. Kyler Murray got hurt midway through the year, towards the end of the year. But against the Rams, where was Kyler Murray? He was too afraid to run. He would not run the football.
He was not prepared.
And when I just
Either that or the stage was too big for him.
yeah, okay, maybe that. But then, are we sure Cliff Kingsbury is a good coach, a good enough coach for Kyler Murray?
Well, I don't know if this issue comes from him. I think this comes more from the general manager, right? Isn't this above Kingsbury and doing the contract?
But does the general manager know
I'm
how
sure
much
they
studying
probably
he's done?
consult with him on that. I don't know if he even knew that clause was in there. He probably did. I don't know about Kingsbury. I think to go 8-0 and then fall off a cliff, that there's probably some coaching questions there as well. But
I mean,
I think they're gonna have trouble with.
That.
I think they're gonna have trouble with Kyler Murray going forward. I think his best days are behind him.
Really, already?
Already, yeah. I think this is
Well, he's
this is
improved
an
every
issue.
year, though.
This is an issue. And, we'll watch and see how he does this year. He's got to make the playoffs, right? He's got to go deep in the playoffs now with a contract like this and the team they put around him.
Right.
They put a good team around him.
They have built a tremendous team around him.
A very good team around him, both on defense and offense. So it's on him, Right. They gave him the big contract. He poo-pooed it now with these comments and this thing they put in the contract, which makes a statement that says that he doesn't. They wouldn't have put it in there if he was doing everything that he should to prepare for a game, right?
I mean, how bad does it look, the fact that now they took it out? It was in, he signed it away, and then take it out.
I think that's even worse. They should have left it in.
But why keep it in the first place? You shouldn't have to put it in there.
Well, they put it in. They wouldn't have put it in if he was doing everything that they thought he should be doing.
You said it might have been the general manager, but I think, does the general manager know everything that's going on in the quarterback room or in the
I'm sure the
meetings?
Communications came from the coaches, right?
So you think you think this is Cliff Kingsbury saying, "Hey, by the way, just so you know, I don't think Kyler Murray's doing his thing."
Either that or the offensive coordinator, right?
You think the offensive coordinator would really talk down like that? You think he would get down on his quarterback?
Well, that's his job. He's a coach, right? Coaches are supposed to tell everything they see. Okay. They're supposed to be doing everything they can to win a game. Right. To prepare the team to have its best chance to win. And if the guy is not preparing, the quarterback, the guy who handles the ball on every play, makes the big decisions out there, who decides whether to audible or not, to keep the play that was called. And then when the play starts, if it doesn't pan out just right, having the options to go to the second, third, or whatever options there. There's a lot on that. I think you got to be a very quick thinker. You got to be very well prepared. So apparently they don't think he was.
I'll say this. There have been a lot of quarterbacks, particularly Brady, Manning, Brett Favre even, where they have the talent to, sort of understand what's going on pre-snap. They call a play and then they look at, maybe a coverage they see. If they move a player, they might be in man if he goes with them, something like that. Kyler Murray, I think, is trying to portray something like that, where he thinks he's good enough to pre-snap everything, to understand what's going on the defensive side. So when he said, my guess is he probably doesn't study as much film as he should be, because in the playoff game against the Rams, he got dismantled. 56% completion percentage, 137 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. That's ugly. That's ugly. Very, very ugly. So my guess was that the Rams defense was pretty ferocious. I'll give it that much. Yeah. But still, though, Kyler Murray didn't even want to run the football at all against the Rams, and that was a big thing. Apparently, there was a rumor coming out right after that game saying that Kyler Murray in the fourth quarter refused to run the football. Period. Kyler Murray himself would not go out of the pocket and run the football.
What was his injury, though? I thought leading up to that game, he had been hurt, right?
Yeah.
What was the injury?
He missed. He said he only started 14 games. I think I'll look it up right now, but I'm pretty sure it was a leg injury.
Okay, so that might be a good
left
reason.
ankle sprain. Yeah.
Okay, so that might be a good reason not to be out there running around too much.
I mean,
that might still have been bothering him some.
But you go 3 quarters, and in the fourth quarter, you decide, no, I'm not going to run the football.
I don't think that's right either. I mean, you're out there, and mentality. It is not, and particularly in a playoff game.
Right. And in a playoff game, you're playing damn ugly. You threw a 2-yard interception, a pick 6 on your own damn end zone.
I know.
And it was one of the ugly. We saw like 2 of those in the playoffs. I think Ryan Tannehill had one.
Never won't give up on a play. He should have just given up and thrown it out of bounds.
Yeah.
I mean,
I will give Kyler Murray credit, though. He's very athletic, which is very dangerous in today's NFL. You see Josh Allen, who's a tank when he moves, Lamar Jackson with his elusiveness and his talent, Kyler Murray with his agility. All those, that's sort of how quarterbacks are becoming now. They want to be more agile, more mobile. It doesn't last long in the NFL. So this was only like a 5-year contract, something like 5 years, $230 million. So it's not that long of a contract.
Yeah, well.
And he's already gotten hurt once.
Anybody ought to be able to live pretty well on $230 million.
I would agree with you.
So
the one plus I have on Kyler Murray, though, is that in the regular season, he's gotten better every single year. He's improved over the course of every single year. Yeah. His completion percentage has gone up drastically. It started in his rookie year at 64%. Now it's all the way up to 69% this previous season. He's thrown for 3,700 yards consistently every single year, with his second year being almost 4,000 yards. He throws about a 2.5 to 1 ratio, touchdowns to interceptions, and he can run the ball pretty well.
No, I'm not saying he's not a great talent. I think he's a great talent.
No,
but,
he is.
You make the point. Maybe he thinks he can do the pre-snap stuff, right?
I don't think the talent's there though. I think he tries to do that.
No, but I think that talent comes from studying the film.
No, exactly. Yeah, and
right.
think about
every team has a little bit different twist on their defense, right?
Right.
So watching that film and knowing what they're going to do, seeing them do what they do for different teams, different games, and what your game plan is going to be, and all that, I think that the film is critical.
It's critical. It's crucial. I mean, just think about it. Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and Brett Favre could do that.
But that's because they watch a ton of film.
Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, they watch tons of film. Brady is known for just sitting there clicking over and over and just going through film constantly. He loves watching film.
Yeah.
That's why he's the greatest pre-snap quarterback ever.
Yeah.
And he could just call it out.
Yeah. I'm not so sure about Brett Favre, whether he was really studying all that much film.
He's a good pre-snap quarterback, though. Yeah. I mean, he does lead the NFL history in interceptions, though. I will say that.
Yeah. I agree with you on Brady and Peyton Manning. I'm not so sure on Brett Favre.
I mean, he was pretty good pre-snap.
I think Brett Favre was a great quarterback.
Oh, he's pretty good. But Kyler Murray's trying to put himself at that level, and he ain't there yet.
I agree.
I think he can get there though, because he has a lot of talent.
Well, maybe if he gets his head
build
together.
It up.
He needs to get his head together and quit being such a diva. I
can see that.
I mean, the team is giving him that money.
Yeah,
that's huge money.
Yeah. That's a lot of money.
They expect a lot for it, and he needs to be disciplined enough to do what it takes to prepare for a game.
Right,
and he's got to know it's obvious what it takes to prepare in the NFL. You got to really put your heart and soul in it. You've got to go above and beyond if you want to win.
Yeah. I mean, right now, I don't think the Cardinals are a Super Bowl team. I think they're definitely a playoff team, especially with the way the NFC is looking.
Team, but when you get to the playoffs, the quarterback plays. That's even more important in the
Absolutely.
playoffs. And the decision making there, you make 1-2 mistakes, you're done in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it's tough to come back from those turnovers and things. And he obviously blew it in the last game. Was that his?
That was his first and only playoff game.
First and only playoff game. Very poor.
Yeah. I mean, it was 19 of 34, 137 yards, 2 picks, no touchdowns. He got sacked twice, which isn't even that many times. I mean, it's a lot it's a decent amount for a singular game, but it's not that many. I mean, he could run the ball pretty effectively though. In that playoff game, he ran it twice for 6 yards, so he didn't even run the ball really at all.
Yeah, well, maybe the ankle was an issue. I don't know. I'll give him. Maybe I give him.
You want to give him a pass on that?
I give him a little pass on that, maybe. But I don't know. It was a playoff game, so I'm sure they wrapped his ankle up as best they could.
Shot it up,
maybe. So I'm telling you, he wasn't feeling much pain from it. But I don't know about that part of it.
Do you think Kyler Murray has that dog in him to take his game up to a whole nother level where he could potentially be a Super Bowl winner? Because the team right now, I'm going to say, is not a Super Bowl. It's not a Super Bowl team at all. I don't even think it's in contention to be a Super Bowl winner.
You don't?
I don't think so. I mean, they have Hollywood Brown. They have DeAndre Hopkins. They have a pretty decent defense.
He's an all-world player.
But the thing is, though, with DeAndre Hopkins, is that he used to be the number 1 receiver in the game. But recently, it's been like, what have you done for me lately? I mean, last year, he got hurt. He missed 7 games.
Yeah.
So at this point, the NFL...
Did he play in that playoff game?
He did not.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
He did not.
Yeah, he was out for the season then when he got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's great. He's a great player.
The thing about the NFL, though, that not many...
Who else do they have? They have Brown.
They have Hollywood Brown, yeah. Let's see.
So they've got the receivers. They've got the receivers to get it done.
Yeah, I would definitely.
And
say
on
so.
defense, don't they have Chandler Jones?
No. Chandler Jones on the Raiders.
Left.
They have what's his name? They have J.J. Watt.
Yeah. They picked him up.
Yeah, they picked him up last year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he gets hurt a lot, and he's getting old. So I don't know if he's so great.
He is.
But they do. I don't know. Maybe their defense isn't as great as I thought. But they have a decent secondary.
Yeah. They have. I'm forgetting his name. I think it's Buda Baker still on the team. I'll look that up right now. But no, their team is definitely good. I mean, think about it. They went 7-0 last year.
Yeah.
And we thought they were the best team in the NFL. Yeah, they have Buda Baker's on that team. Buda Baker's a pretty good safety. But 7-0, we thought they were the best team in the number one slot. And Cliff Kingsbury, even at Texas Tech, in Texas Tech, his teams would crumble in the second half of the season. And you saw it last year with the Cardinals. His team crumbled in the second half of the season. It was ugly. Very, very ugly. We're going to take our first break now with the Harvey Hour. We'll be back in just a number of minutes. Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey. Once again, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. I want to talk about this now. Patrick Mahomes, known as Baby Goat, the next Tom Brady, the next greatest quarterback of all time, with the young, ripe age of, I believe he is, 24, 25 years old, maybe not even that old. I looked that up right now. He has done some interesting things, by the way. He is the age of 26. I was wrong, turning on 27 this year. He's doing many things in practice that we all seen. He's practiced, just to list off some things, he's practiced no-look passes, and we saw that during the season. And now even other quarterbacks are doing it, because a highlight of the Super Bowl, this past Super Bowl, was a Matthew Stafford no-look pass. We've seen left-handed throws, which he's practiced and done in-game and is still practicing. And now we have something very weird that we're seeing right now. The behind the back that we only see in NBA games, because that's an NBA move, a behind the back pass.
Yeah.
Do you think this is a smart idea? Is this something that could happen in a game, or is this just risky Patrick Mahomes just trying to put on a show? Is this a joke? What do you think of what's happening with Patrick Mahomes and his training, apparently?
No,
what do you think?
I think it's a joke.
Really?
Yeah. I think the no-look passes and behind-the-back passes and what's the other thing he does?
Left-handed passes.
Left-handed passing is, forget it. I mean, that's a desperation type stuff, right? And you shouldn't be in the desperation type situation. You should be able to pull a play off standard the way it's written up, and that's what you go for. And if it's not there, then ditch the play instead of trying to do something like that, which wind up with a fumble, an interception, or sack. So I don't think it's a good idea. It's showboating. That's what I think.
I mean, I'm just thinking about it. He's practiced left-handed passes. He's done it in a game. He's practiced no-look passes. He's kind of known for the no-look passes. I really feel like this is a joke, and this is a hell of a risk. But I feel like he might do it in a game, legitimately.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to do it.
But it's such a ridiculous play.
Yeah. Why would you need to even do it?
I don't know. Maybe.
I guess if somebody's right in your face and you can't, or there's, I don't know, they're blocking the path to the forward pass to him, then you might flip it behind your back. But I've never seen anyone do that. Have you?
But that is so risky.
I've never seen anyone do it in the game. Have you? Behind the back on a shuffle pass?
Of course
like
not.
Yeah.
Unless it's legitimately just like a last minute thought, like desperation. I gotta get this ball out, and someone might do it. But like, I could see Patrick Mahomes legitimately trying this as like a new like read option play, where he tries to take it out like you see here, take it out to the left, and then dish it to his running back. But I feel like this would be way too risky to actually do in a game.
So do I.
And we know Patrick Mahomes last year, he had a decent stretch, about 6-7 games where he had low completion percentage, low amount of yards, a lot of turnovers, where his fundamentals were just absolutely in the toilet. And that was actually a description coming out of Texas Tech, was that his fundamentals were not where they should be in the NFL. And we've seen this in stretches over his career. He has been phenomenal in a lot of games, 450-yard games, 6 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, long 75-yard pass bombs, these long plays. But at times, especially last year, he looked horrible. And now this year, without a Tyreek Hill, your offensive line is still in shambles after you just rebuilt it the previous year after getting slapped by the Bucs in the Super Bowl. And now you're practicing no-look passes, left-handed passes, and now behind the back? I mean, I'm just thinking, Andy Reid, I don't know what Andy Reid's doing. You're not seeing any other quarterback do any of this. They're working on fundamentals. I mean, you had Jameis Winston, who fumbled the ball, had 35 turnovers one year, got kicked out for Brady, and then Brady immediately won a Super Bowl with the Bucs. All the offseason trying to get back, he was practicing on not losing the football, doing slap drills where they would slap his hand to try to dislodge the ball from him. He was working on that. You got QBs working on footwork. You got QBs working on how to strengthen their arm. Tom Brady's always been working on pliability and mobility of his muscles and tissues and everything like that. Now you got Patrick Mahomes out here practicing behind the back throws. I mean,
you know what? I think that no-look stuff and behind the back, left-handed passing. I mean, we haven't seen him do a behind-the-back pass yet in the regular game, but he got a name for himself doing this, stunt-type plays, right?
Yeah.
And I think it made him a sloppier quarterback. I mean, he's been sloppy like last year.
Andy Reid has no problem with him doing this.
He was inconsistent last year, and his turnovers. What was his? How many interceptions did he throw?
I believe he had
last year?
13 last year.
Wow.
I could make sure we had 37 touchdowns, 13 interceptions.
Yeah. So I think that, and he wasn't that great in the playoff game against the Bengals.
No.
Right? The first half, he was okay. The second half, he was like all over the place. I don't know. He kind of lost his focus or something.
Right.
So I don't think he's the next coming of Tom Brady.
I mean, it's sort of hard to put that on a brand new quarterback. He goes out 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns. Tied Brady for tied Brady for the amount of touchdowns, 5,000 yards. Some crazy season, one of the best seasons a first-year starter's ever had. Probably the best first-year starter season ever in the history of the NFL. But you come out and he's set himself at a bar so high that only the elite quarterbacks get, and he is an elite quarterback. But once you dip below that standard line you set for yourself, people are going to be coming out your throat for this. And Andy Reid has to be like, hey, we saw like a 6-game, 5-game, possibly 7-game stretch where you had low completion percentage, a high amount of turnovers, not much efficiency. And now I'm letting you work on behind the back throws and not say anything about it. I mean, this ain't a magic show. This is the NFL. You're not about pulling tricks out here.
I think it's not a stunt show. It's about winning.
And first of all, the no-look pass can be efficient, and we saw it in the Super Bowl. The no-look pass can be used in an efficient way.
No-look pass means you're going to have an interception, I think.
Well, I mean, Matthew Stafford had a beautiful no-look pass in the Super Bowl. But a behind the back, that seems so impractical. Why not just do a normal shuffle pass? There's no reason to do a behind the back pass.
Do the behind the back.
So the fact that he's in practice,
go play basketball if you want to do that.
I'm willing to bet he's going to do this in a game.
I believe you're right. I think you're right.
And my guess is it's not even going to be like they're up like 21. I think they'll be like probably up 7, up 14, maybe down 7. He's trying to pull out this trick play to get the crowd into it, get the motivation pumping for the team. I don't think he's going to do this when they're like down by so much or up by so much. I think he might legitimately do this as like a play to potentially get a first down. Okay. That's what I'm thinking about it potentially. I see zero reason into practicing this because it's so impractical. The chances that it'll actually work is so slim because who's going to say that no one's going to be covering the running back man on man? You have linemen ahead of you, right? But think about that. You're shuffling it. You have more control of the behind the back pass. You get a behind the back pass, the running back has to look back potentially because it's not going to be directly across from him. So your running back might get laid out.
I think it's a high risk play that's unnecessary.
I think it's not high risk, high reward at all. You know, maybe the no look could
It's
be
high risk for sure.
Oh no, I'm saying it's not
but
high
low
reward.
reward.
Yeah,
There's no reward.
I don't think there could be.
You don't have to go behind the back.
There's no reason. It's impractical. The fact that he's doing this, I mean, it's just for show.
Showboat.
It's just for show.
Showboat.
Because I think, like, look at this. I would love to see that in the game. I want to see.
He'll do it in the game, I'm sure.
I really want to see this in the game to see if it'll actually work.
I'd be anxious to see what some of the analysts will say about it. You know, I'm sure they're going to. They're talking about it now.
They're going to hype it up. They're going to be like, oh, Patrick Mahomes,
have you seen anything from any of them?
No, this came out, I think this was coming out a couple of days ago. But according to the reports, there's been a lot of them. There's been a lot of these behind-the-back passes going around. I mean, I've seen
more
some
than
from
Mahomes doing it?
No, I'm talking from Mahomes only. Yeah. I've seen reports July 18th him doing a behind-the-back pass. But it just seems so impractical to me.
Yeah, I don't think.
And I mean, I just think it's just stupid.
I agree.
Well, we're gonna stay here for just a second while we go on to our next topic. We're gonna move to basketball really quickly because Draymond Green, he's looking for a max extension from the Warriors, and he said if he doesn't get a max extension, he'll look elsewhere to try to get his money.
Yeah,
he's won what? Who's he at now? 4 championships now. 1 with Steph and Clay, 2 with KD, Steph and Clay, and another one after KD with Steph and Clay. He's looking for a max extension right now. He's still, technically, he's on the Warriors for another 2 years if he accepts his player option. He has 1 year and then a player option which he could opt into. If he does not opt into that player option, which is $27.5 million, he could be a free agent. Here's the thing, though.
He'd be a free agent this year coming up?
The following year. 2023 to 24.
They won't give it to him. They're not going to give
Steph Curry waited until his last year, so this is his last year under contract technically because he has the player option the following year, which he could accept. If he doesn't accept that player option, he becomes a free agent.
I see.
He's under contract this year for $25.8 million this upcoming season.
Yeah. Wow.
He wants a max extension, not a max contract. A max extension would mean for him would be 4 years, $138.4 million. But the deal would lock Draymond Green in for $164.2 million over the next 5 seasons. He turned 37 years old by the end of that final season.
They're not going to do it.
Do you think he deserves his max?
No.
You don't think so? Why? Why don't you think he deserves this max extension?
I think his best games are behind him. I don't think he's got 5 years left at the highest level.
Do you think the Warriors will do it? He
didn't play that well in the finals this year. I mean, he was not the reason they won the finals.
I think he was a big part of it.
He was a part of it, but he was not the biggest reason. They took him out in key stretches.
They did.
They took him out in key stretches and games that were very close. He was not playing well, and they pulled him. He couldn't hit the 3-point shot, right? And, his ball handling was a little questionable, too. So they yanked him in some of those games, and I think that said something. I don't think he'll get a max from them. I mean, they'll want him to play for him next year.
Absolutely,
sure. He has to. He has no choice.
He's under contract.
And I don't know. He's kind of a hothead, so maybe he'll make noise about it all year long, and that could be a distraction.
I mean, I think he already
probably
did.
don't want that. He's made noise about it now already.
The season hasn't even started. He's already saying, I'll move elsewhere if I don't get a max extension.
Well, he can't move elsewhere unless they trade him.
Well, I mean,
after he has one more year. This year, he's got this
his
year.
last year.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. He's talking now.
But he's 30, will be 31, 32 years old going into the next season, right?
He'll be 37 after the end of 5 years.
Yeah, so 32.
31, 32, yeah.
So I think his best years are behind him.
Do you think the Warriors will do it, though? Because the Warriors have the biggest payroll in the NBA right now.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do it.
They're spending the most money.
They don't have to do it this year. They could, you know what? Let him go test free agency. They probably could get him back at a better deal. Yeah, he could go test free agency. We'll see what kind of year he has. He might. You know what? If they don't do it, and he plays with a chip on his shoulder, he might have a great year. That's what they're looking for, right? And then he goes to free agency, and then
the team might buy him for a lot, though. If he has a really good year, a team would spend that money on him because he had a great year.
I don't know. I think that's a risk worth taking.
You think so?
Yeah, I'd take it. I wouldn't. If I were the Warriors, I wouldn't give him the max now.
The reason I would
make him play out his contract and then negotiate with him after that. I
think if I was the honestly, Draymond Green, a lot. I think a huge part of the Warriors, part of the foundation of the Warriors is Draymond Green. Draymond Green got hurt.
Huh?
No, trust me. Draymond Green got hurt about midway through the year. The first time Clay, Steph, and Draymond were all on the court together was against the Wizards, I believe. The first play they were all on the court together. What did they do that everyone's known for? Take a guess at what they did. The first play they're on the court together. The Warriors are known for this. They've been doing it for years. It's the one thing teams say that technically should be illegal. Draymond Green is doing something illegal that should be called, but it's not. Take a guess, a wild guess.
Pick.
Exactly. People say that Draymond keeps doing a moving pick and roll.
Yeah.
A moving screen, I should say, because it doesn't roll out because he means it for a three. Immediately, the first play, I believe, was it was a pass to Draymond, then Draymond dished it off to Clay or Steph, drained a three. First play they were together. And that's what they did throughout the entire year. That's essentially their offense. The high pick into a three. Klay Thompson shoots. He's a catch and shooter, so he comes off that screen, catches it, and shoots it immediately. That's what Klay's career has largely been based on, is the catch and shoot three-pointer. Draymond Green, the NBA has this thing called a net rating, where they combine your offense and your defense to basically say, are you a deficit or more you're positive?
Yeah.
His defense or his net rating is a 7.45 or 49.
Positive.
Yeah, that's higher than Steph's.
Oh yeah.
You combine your offense, and Draymond's an offensive liability on most cases. We saw that in the previous year, not this past year. Year before that.
But,
he's such a good defender. He's such a key defender. I mean, think about it. He's like 6'9". He was guarding 7-footers. He was guarding Robert Williams. Robert Williams is like 6'11".
Yeah.
He was guarding Al Horford. He was guarding these big dudes and causing trouble. A lot of trouble.
Yeah, their defense is great. I will say that.
And by the end of the finals, I think they were actually the better defensive team, and you saw that. They shut down Tatum.
In the playoffs, they were.
Yeah.
They were better
in the
than
NBA
Celtics.
Finals against the Celtics, who were the number one defensive team in the NBA. You saw it against the Heat. You definitely saw it against the Bucks. No one else besides Giannis can get going.
Yeah.
You definitely saw it against the Nets. KD and Kyrie could not get a rhythm. KD was shut down. I have never seen KD like that before. KD in the playoffs is probably averaging 30 points a game. The Celtics shut him down.
Would you do it then? Oh,
if I was the Warriors, I would see how this season goes.
Yeah.
And if he's as efficient as he has been, if his net rating stays above, I don't know, the greatest player on my team so far, I would seriously consider, maybe I'll do this max extension, because Steph Curry has even said that he wants to finish his career with this core together. Right, he still wants to win. I think Steph Curry's probably got 3-4 good years left in him. He's 33 now.
He's going to play till he's 40.
So him, Clay, and Draymond as a core could go through this together. And my guess is win one, maybe two more chips in this.
I think two.
Because that core is so
they
strong.
Get Kevin Durant back.
They've been together. Steph, Clay, and Draymond have been together for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
That chemistry right now. There's no other chemistry like that in the NBA.
It's going to be there next year for sure, no matter what, right? And if they don't give Draymond Green the max then he'll play very hard for it this next year.
I think he would.
And this next year is probably their best chance to repeat. I mean, they're only getting older, those guys. So
right.
I don't think they'll give him the max.
I think another question that the Warriors are probably going to ask themselves
Max
is
extension.
Are the Warriors, or is the Warriors organization willing to give up their potential future? Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, he's on an expiring contract. Jordan Poole's on an expiring contract. Are you willing to give those guys up? Keep your core together. I think that's a serious question.
Do they? They don't have to do that, do they?
Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry are the core.
I understand that.
Klay Thompson's coming up on an expiring contract too.
They don't have to do that this upcoming year in order to keep those guys, right?
I'm talking about just for future, because let's say I'm not.
I would say. Sure. I thought you were going to say they would give him up to get Kevin Durant.
No. I mean, Kevin Durant doesn't. I doubt he wants to go to the Warriors now, because I just think the asking price for KD is way too high. I think the Nets are asking way too much because they think he's worth something that I don't think anyone would pay in the NBA, like some ridiculous price for him. I really don't think it's worth that. But Jordan Poole, this is his last year on the Warriors. He's on an expiring contract. Klay Thompson's going on an expiring contract. Andrew Wiggins is on an expiring contract. You still have James Wiseman. You still have Moses Moody. You got guys that you could potentially keep. But is James Wiseman your next Draymond Green? Can you replace Draymond Green with James Wiseman? I mean, James Wiseman's already been hurt. He was out the entire year last year. Draymond Green he's relatively durable, and he's a phenomenal defender.
What you're saying is, should you invest the money and with the extension for Draymond Green, and maybe you won't have enough money to keep those other guys?
Do I put my future into my core, or do I stick with my new guys and say, Draymond Green, if you think you can get more money or better money and win and break up the score, go right ahead?
I think they would opt for that. I don't think.
Would it surprise you though if they don't? If they gave Draymond the money, would it surprise you? Because it would obviously be just to keep the core together. So that would probably mean Andrew Wiggins would probably be
maybe
gone.
It doesn't surprise me that much because sometimes teams they let their emotions get the better of them in terms of, instead of doing the cold hard calculating, by the stats everything.
Bill Belichick is key at that.
Yeah, right. And look how he's done.
I don't care how
he's done.
Recently, not so well.
Yeah, well,
9-7 with Cam Newton.
Yeah, well, Cam Newton was.
I'll give you that, Cam Newton.
We'll not get into that. Let's not get into that. I wouldn't be. Wouldn't surprise me that much if they did it, but I don't think they should.
All right, that's fair. Once again, we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be back for our last topic. Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey. Once again, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey.
Hi.
We want to wrap up this Harvey Hour with talking about something that shocked me a little bit when I read the article and read the news that came out, saying that Mason Rudolph could potentially be the Steelers' starting quarterback going into this year. The OC of the Steelers, Matt Canada, basically had this quote, I believe it was yesterday, where he said, Mason's getting the second reps right now, almost equal to, maybe slightly less than Mitch, in regards to Mitch Trubisky, who everyone thought would be the starting quarterback. He's been given a fair shot. To this point in camp, it might have been exactly equal. Mason has made a lot of plays at times. He's played very well at times for us. He's got a great shot at it. He's being treated that way. His history with our plays, with our system, is a positive for him. Do you think Mason Rudolph, realistically, could be starting week 1 for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I say Pittsburgh's in trouble. If they're talking about a choice between Trubisky and Rudolph, then I think they could be in big trouble this year, right?
That's
because
fair.
I saw Rudolph play when he was in there when Roethlisberger was hurt. he was making all kinds of mistakes, right? And they yanked him and put that other guy in there. The other guy was horrible. They put Rudolph back in. They took him out. They put the other guy back in. He was just not good at all. Now, maybe he's improved some since then, but they're practicing now. They're not in the real game, right? And we've seen what Mitch Trubisky can do. He's not that great either. So I think the Pittsburgh's in trouble at the quarterback position this year for sure.
I'll say this. Mitch Trubisky has made it to the playoffs. I'll say that because he has. He's made it to the playoffs. He made
it with the Bears, too. I mean, how often do the Bears make it to the playoffs?
He's not only made it once, he's made it twice with the Bears.
Yeah.
Then lost both times. The first playoff game, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was that the double doink against the Eagles? I believe it was. The double doink.
What is the double doink?
Where the kicker at the very end of the game hit the crossbar twice. One was called a timeout to try to ice the kicker, and the second time he did the exact same thing.
I think you're right.
In that game, Mitch Trubisky played pretty damn well. The completion percentage is 60.5%, but he threw for 303 yards and a touchdown with 0 interceptions. I think if I saw that 303 one touchdown, I think
that's not bad.
I would definitely say that's not bad, and
his problem is consistency.
It is consistency.
In the regular season, he's inconsistent.
Very much so.
Yeah.
But I think, you know what? As a quarterback, he has a winning record. He's 29-21 as a starting quarterback. He's played in the league, started in the league for 4 years, already has 10,000 yards, 64 touchdowns to 38 interceptions. So, I mean, I would say he's mid to below mid on the quarterback scale. Truthfully, I would put Mitch Trubisky probably over Daniel Jones, I would say.
Maybe.
It's definitely a close race, but Mason Rudolph...
where does he get ranked in some of those polls that we've been talking about and criticizing in the last couple of weeks?
I would need to look that up, but I'm sure he's not high at all.
No, I know he's low, but how low? Is he down at the bottom? Or?
I mean, where do you think he ranks?
I think he's in the lower. He's in the 4th tier there, that tier one.
The athletic one?
Yeah.
I'll bring up the athletic in a second, but that's ranking top 10. I don't know if this is the correct list. If it gives all the quarterbacks, does this just give... Yeah, this gives the top 10. I'll look at the athletic poll to see what the athletic... I think if I had to make a prediction on who would be the starting quarterback, I would probably say Mitch Trubisky still wins it because I just think that it's Mason Rudolph we're talking about here. Let's see if they have Mitch Trubisky. Do they have him on this list? I have a funny feeling they don't.
See, it says that makes a statement right there. He didn't even make the list.
Well, he did make the list.
Okay, where is he?
3rd to last.
Okay. So that's about where I'd put him.
He's in tier 4, though. I'll give you that because there's only one quarterback in tier 5, and that's Geno Smith.
Yeah.
So
that's mean to have a tier 5 and only have one quarterback.
Well, it says that tier 5 quarterback is best suited as a backup. I think Geno Smith definitely fits that role. But Mitch Trubisky's ranked 33rd out of 35 qualified quarterbacks. But I would say above Mason Rudolph. Yeah, definitely. And above Kenny, I honestly, would you put Kenny Pickett, the rookie, in there? Would you? Just to save face?
They won't start him. I don't think they'll start him at the beginning of the year, but I think he has a good chance of getting in there sometime after week 3 or 4 if those guys don't perform. So there's a good chance he'll get in there because I don't have much faith in either Trubisky or Rudolph.
And here's the thing, though. I think do you remember my QB or not my QB, but the tiers of teams I had? I ranked the tiers of teams. Yeah. There's a reason I put the Steelers dead last. It's for this is one of the exact reasons why. They may go into the season with 2 quarterbacks, and everybody knows if you have 2 quarterbacks going in, you really have 0 quarterbacks because you have no faith in any quarterback.
The only counter I would say is if they don't let the quarterback do much, right? I mean, if it's a game management position for the quarterback, and they have a very good running game. If their running game is excellent, because they have a great defense, right? Their defense is good, so they might try the game management approach where they run it on the 1st and 2nd down and If they don't get the first down, they throw it on third down.
Do you think they're going for just trying to barely eke out wins? Go for sub 20.
I guess so. I can't figure it out otherwise. I mean, they don't really have a good quarterback.
They don't have a quarterback right now, apparently, because there's time between Mason Rudolph and Mitch Trubisky.
I'm grasping at straws to understand what they're trying to do here.
It's very confusing.
Yeah.
And that's what the Patriots, there were questions about the Patriots when is it Cam Newton, Mac Jones? Mac Jones, Cam Newton. Who are they going in for? Mac Jones is practicing with the first team.
Well, they
no,
obviously
Cam
made
Newton.
the right decision.
I agree with that, definitely. Cam Newton is a backup. I think, probably would have caused a little bit of drama between,
They were smart to drop
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So they would have had to pay him a lot of money anyway.
Yeah, probably.
It was $14 million, I think.
Yes, it's some crazy number. So going into the season, me and you both agree. Mitch Trubisky's probably the starter?
I think so, yes. And I think that if he falls on his face and does terrible, then I think they'll try Rudolph for a little bit, and then they'll wind up with Pickett. So maybe it's game 6 or 7 or 7 or 8 that Pickett winds up getting in there. Who knows? Maybe the game management strategy is what they're thinking about, and maybe that works because they do have some good running backs, right? I think they have that guy. What's his guy's name?
On the Steelers?
The rookie last year on the Steelers.
Oh my God. Najee Harris.
Yeah, he's good.
He is good.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a key part in that offense.
Yeah.
So I have the schedule up here for the Steelers. You're going to tell me where, let's say for all intents and purposes, Mitch Trubisky starts.
Okay.
We're going to go down the teams. At what point do you think they'll throw in Mason Rudolph?
Okay.
Game 1 at Bengals.
They'll lose that game for sure.
Yes. Home against the Patriots.
They're going to lose that one.
Do you think Mason Rudolph comes in though?
No, not yet.
At Browns. Does Mason Rudolph?
I'd say if they lose that game, they're 0-3, and that's the end of Trubisky. Then
Do you think then at home against the Jets, you'll see a Mason Rudolph?
I think there's a good chance.
And then this is a brutal schedule. It's at Bengals, Patriots, at Browns, Jets, at Bills, Bucks, at Dolphins, at Eagles. That is a brutal schedule.
Well, by the time they get to what's the game before the Eagles?
Dolphins, at Dolphins.
At Dolphins, and then they're home against.
Nope, at Eagles. The next
at
game.
Eagles, and then one of the
bye week, and then it's 2 home games. Saints, Bengals.
Saints, Bengals, huh?
Yeah.
I'd say after the bye week. What week is that?
Week 9.
Week 9. I'd say that's when Pickett's going to show up.
You think Mason? So this schedule though is brutal. It is a killer.
I would say they'll be lucky to be 500 team by the end.
Oh, I definitely think. I think Mike Tomlin's tremendous record of being a winning quarter, not having a losing season ever. I think that comes to end this year, and that's what I'm saying. They're going to be at the bottom of the standings this year. Deshaun Watson or not, I believe that because they legitimately have 0 quarterbacks right now.
Yeah. Again, if they could make the game management strategy work, they might be able to hang into those games with low score, right?
But who are they gonna slow down tremendously? The Bengals.
No way. They ain't gonna slow them down.
The Patriots.
That one could be a low scoring game.
Browns depends on Deshaun Watson.
That could be a low scoring game too.
Jets.
That's a low scorer.
The Jets have a pretty good offense.
Yeah, but I think that the Pittsburgh has a better defense.
At Bills going to blow them out. At Bills
will blow them out.
Bucks
will blow them out.
Yeah, I think that's good. Dolphins. I could see a.
That's at Dolphins though, right?
At Dolphins, yeah. So I mean,
that could be close.
Yeah, and then at Eagles.
At Eagles, they might win that game. I think the Eagles will be lousy.
Interesting, even with AJ Brown.
Yeah, but they don't have anyone to throw it to him.
You don't like Jalen Hurts?
I do not like that guy. What's he ranked in that?
I just got off it.
I think he's like in tier 3, right?
Yeah, that'll be my guess. Yeah, let's bring it up and I'll get Mr. Jalen Hurts. Let's see where he is. He's tied for 20th in
20th.
Tier 3? Yes, tier 3. Actually, yeah, tier 3. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was tier 2 because I didn't see it. But yeah, tier 3.
Okay.
All right, I said I was going to wrap with Harvey with that, but I just thought of this idea because it was just going through my head, and I
want to ask you one more question before we get off that.
Yeah, sure.
Is Kenny Pickett really, is he thought to be a potentially great quarterback?
I've heard zero conversation even about him starting. So let's start with that first of all. But his last year playing for Pitt, 42 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 4,300 yards, 67.2% completion percentage.
That's pretty good.
So it's not a bad. I mean, the previous years
they play some pretty stiff competition, right?
They're in the ACC, so I don't know how stiff that who's in the ACC? Clemson's in the ACC.
Okay. Did they win that game?
I'm not looking at the schedule right now. I'm just looking at
I don't think so.
I was looking at the standings. They did win the Coastal though. So,
okay.
11-3 record, not too
Okay.
bad. Miami, we're below them. Virginia Tech, North Carolina, Georgia Tech, Duke. Not many great teams there, but I want to get on this now because I'm very, very curious because I haven't seen much talk about at least one of these players, but I mentioned one of these before, and it's Juan Soto and Shohei Ohtani, both of them, and I was shocked about the Ohtani news, but Juan Soto, as we all know, Juan Soto's on the market. He turned down 15 years, $440 million to stay with the Washington Nationals.
That was a mistake.
I think that's a smart move. The Nationals right now are the worst team in the MLB. I think he wants, because it's just going to be a Mike Trout situation.
But in 15 years, you don't think they could put a team together that might compete for something?
Look at Mike Trout. How long has Mike Trout been in the MLB?
Yeah, well,
he's been the best player. He has literally been the Calvin Johnson of the MLB. Yeah. The greatest player on the worst team that does nothing. That's been Mike Trout. Yeah. And Mike Trout has had Shohei Ohtani right next to him, and they still can't win. That's how bad the Angels are.
They had what's his name as a manager, and he's a really good manager, and they couldn't win.
Joe Madden?
Yeah, Joe Madden. Yeah.
Mike Trout's been in the league for 12 years. 12 years. Mike Trout has been the greatest
Has he
MLB
been to the playoffs? They've been to the playoffs once, I think.
I think
he's been to the playoffs once.
Well, it's been from 2011 to 2022. So, not in 2011, not in 2012, not 2013, 14, nope.
Maybe he's never been to the playoffs.
15, nope. Actually, nope. I lied. 2014.
2014, they made the playoffs.
3-0 to the Royals.
Yeah. Lost 3-0
lost 3-0 to the Royals. That year they oh yeah. That was one of those Giants years. So one playoff run.
Yeah.
And
I would say maybe
they fired Joe Madden this year too.
I know. They fired him.
Yeah. That was only like a 14-game losing streak.
Yeah, right. So Ohtani, maybe they don't think they got the money to sign him.
Well, the trade that they want, the Angels are not ruling out a Ohtani trade. They're just looking for your top 4 prospects to go get him. And I think he's worth it. I really think Ohtani's worth it. Ohtani, if we're taking a look about efficiency.
4 top prospects, sure.
If we're looking at just efficiency on both ends, he's technically better than Babe Ruth.
Pay him some huge money.
You do, because he is such a unique player. You don't see that in the MLB.
Yeah.
The one, I mean, people were comparing him immediately
to Babe
Ruth.
I know.
And on efficiency on both sides of the I guess the baseball you would call it, hitting and pitching, technically, he's better than Babe Ruth right now because he could pitch. He's been pitching actually better than Babe Ruth was. Babe Ruth, once he moved off the Red Sox and went to the Yankees, wasn't a pitcher anymore.
Babe Ruth, was he a two-way player when he was a pitcher?
Yeah.
He did play when he wasn't pitching. He was playing.
As soon as he moved to the Yankees, though, he stopped pitching basically.
Yeah, right.
It was only on the Red Sox for the first 6-7 years of his career where he was that two-way player.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about efficiency on both sides, I think he's right now better than Babe Ruth. His hitting obviously is not. Babe Ruth is Babe Ruth, the greatest hitter in baseball for a long, long time before Barry Bonds shot up with steroids.
Well, I think ever. I mean, the comparisons. Hank Aaron has more home runs, but he played in like 2,500 more games or something like that.
Yeah.
Some huge number.
I mean,
2,500 at bats more.
Babe Ruth, his records, all time in the MLB, slugging percentage, OPS, and OPS plus, highest in MLB history. And we're talking that he played from 1914 to 1935.
Yeah.
So we're talking almost 100 full years since Babe Ruth started and ended his career. And he still holds that record for greatest OPS and slugging percentage.
No, I think he's the greatest for sure.
So, I mean, 4 top prospects, that seems honestly a tiny bit low for Ohtani.
Right. I think you're right. But you know what? They probably figure they can't pay him. And they've given these huge contracts to, they gave one to Albert Pujols, right?
Right.
It turned out to be a bust for them. And Mike Trout, they gave a huge contract to, right? So they're probably thinking, you know what? The huge contract's not working for us so well. So maybe they're thinking, shop him, get the great prospects, and try to build the way like Houston did.
Right.
Through the draft and prospects.
Yeah.
So they got to do something. The formula has not, what they've been trying hasn't been working. They got to try something else. So maybe that's why.
Yeah.
And Soto, on the other hand, I think he should have taken that contract from Washington.
But what if it turns out to another Mike Trout situation where, you know what, you're at such
So you walk off with $400 million. I don't think that's so bad.
I think you want to win more. I mean, he already won once. He won once.
I think
he wants to go where to win more.
He's
win
won
more.
once already. Yeah.
I mean, just think about the teams that are interested in him. The Mets. The Mets are a damn good team. They swept the Yankees in the first series.
I say there's a good chance he goes there.
It's apparently
they got the owner that can afford it.
According to Ken Rosenthal, it's now dropped down to 2 teams that are seriously in the running.
Who?
The St. Louis Cardinals and the San Diego Padres. The Padres have an owner or a GM that will do anything.
Yeah, well, he's already shelled out a ton of money, right?
He wants to get a group of people that's Machado, Fernando Tatis, and Juan Soto. That trio, he wants to get that trio on the field at the exact same time.
Yeah.
And he will basically do anything.
St. Louis got the kind of money to shell out for.
St. Louis has. I looked at some of the packages. St. Louis has could get
I don't
a big
think San
package
Diego.
for him.
I'm surprised San Diego too, because those aren't big markets. Those aren't huge markets, right? You don't see much about the San Diego Padres.
Recently, though, because of Fernando Tatis and everything
the Mets,
like that.
The Yankees, the Red Sox, those are the big market teams.
Now the Dodgers. The Dodgers are huge now.
Dodgers, right? Those are the big market teams.
I mean, look at the Braves just won the World Series. You don't hear much. You don't hear much. You don't hear anything about it.
I know. Yeah. So it's like 4 or 5 teams that are the big market teams that can have the advertising and stuff to be able to pay a guy like that.
I'm surprised the Mets aren't more aggressive. I really am surprised because
maybe they don't think these other deals will come to pass. Maybe.
So do you think they're playing the waiting game?
Yeah.
I think it's dangerous though because the Yankees are also in play for Juan Soto.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
really?
if the Yankees are in play for Juan Soto, they could pay a lot of money.
How are they going to do Juan Soto and Aaron Judge both? I don't know.
That's a great question. I'm not sure, but it's the Yankees. They'll find some way. I mean, think about their roster right now, the way it's constructed.
Probably they would give away, what's his name, Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah.
He would probably trade. He'd probably go as part of that deal. Although he has a big contract too. I don't know.
What is
interesting. I don't think anything will happen at the trade deadline for either of those guys.
Do you think the trade deadline is going to be relatively lackluster? Do you think not many people are going to be traded? Any big names, I should say? I mean, well, first of all, Giancarlo Stanton is locked in until 2028 with the Yankees.
Yeah.
He's making about $32 million per year.
Yeah. His
contract ends when he is 38 years old.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, I'm looking at it right now. He's gonna get paid by the Marlins 2026, 2027, and 2028. He's gonna pay $10 million from the Marlins, so the Yankees don't even need to pay that much for him, which is ridiculous how that worked out.
Yeah,
Bobby Bonilla 2.0. He's still getting paid $1 million every year.
Yeah.
Who do you think is more likely to get traded though, Ohtani or Juan Soto?
Soto.
I think it's just that the trade rumors have gotten farther with Soto, so I would agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Do you think Ohtani will get traded though? Because that would be very interesting to see.
Is he a free agent next year?
I could look that up right now. It'd be very interesting to see because he's 27 years old. A really really good two-way player. The fact that he's up,
He's up. So
he has an arbitration year next year, and then his earliest free agent is 2024.
Okay, so he's got one more year with the Angels, probably.
Yeah.
So I don't think he'll move at the trade deadline. I do think that JD Martinez will be moved.
The Mets apparently are interested in JD Martinez.
I think he's gone. Red Sox are done now. They're toast.
You've given up hope?
Yeah, I think so. They may make it remotely interesting for the wild card spot, but they keep losing. I mean, they've lost a lot of games now. They're under 500, and they're fading in the wild card. So I think they're going to move some players. I heard that we might think about moving Vasquez, and I think that would be a mistake. Hang on to him.
A lot of players that might be shocking might move from the Red Sox. Here, I don't
think Bogarts is going. I think they'll hang on to him. Try to work out a deal at the end of the season to keep him, but it's probably not. I don't think it's better than 50-50 that he stays with the Red Sox. If he gets into free agency, someone's going to offer him a ton.
You think?
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Just so you know, the wild card Red Sox are 4.5 games. They're below the White Sox.
There's 2 under 500 right now, right?
Yeah. They're below
they still
White
have
Sox.
Lots of teams between them and that spot now, right?
Yeah, they have White Sox, Orioles, Guardians, who they just lost to a bunch of times, and Tampa Bay, who's in the last wild card spot.
Yeah.
And then it's Seattle and Toronto above them.
They could get everybody back healthy. They might make a run at it, but I think time's running out on them. For sure. 4.5 games. What's how many games left to play? 60 or so? 62 or 3.
60
games to play.
60 for the Red Sox. Yeah,
it's tough to make up 4.5 games. So we'll see.
mean, they could have broken.
Plus, they have a very hard schedule. It's mostly against American League East. They haven't won a series against American League East.
They're horrible against the AL East.
Terrible.
They're horrible.
Horrible.
I mean, the Orioles, they are so confusing. They suck, but they're great against their own division.
Yeah.
It's very weird. They beat the Yankees. They beat the Rays. They beat the Blue Jays. They whooped the Red Sox.
Yeah.
But they just can't. I mean, right now they're in third or fourth because there's 5 teams. They're in fourth. The Red Sox are in dead last. I think the Red Sox time's over. It just ain't their year. I'm trying to find Trey Mancini from I think he plays the Orioles. Trey Mancini supposedly could be on the market.
Why?
Well, he's playing every game every home game like it's a last. And recently it went all over the news that it could be his last home game with the Orioles, which was very weird.
Why would they trade him? They're having a good season now, and he was one of their...
He had a monster year a couple years ago. He had like 35 homers, almost batting 300. I could look that up for you. I'm sure it's not bad, but still, Trey Mancini, putting him up for a trade. Right now, this year, he is batting 272 with 10 homers and 41 RBIs.
Yeah, I don't know why they'd trade him. I thought he was one of them kind of poster boy lead players on that team. I don't know why they would let him go.
I mean, off the top of my head, he's one of the only notable ones. I mean, maybe Mountcastle.
Mountcastle is up there. Yeah.
He's the only other one I can think about.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
I think the Orioles, they may have a chance to get into the playoffs because they've done so little for so long.
Right.
That this is a surprise, and those guys are pumped up, you know?
Right. Judge hit another homer yesterday, making his total to 42 home runs.
Yeah.
Do you think Aaron Judge is making a run right now at some records with, about 60 games to go, give or take?
Well, he needs to get to, what's the max in his season? It's like 73.
73.
He's not going to get
if
that.
we're including non-steroids, which I do, because
61.
It's a former Yankee who had
Roger Maris.
Yeah. So he needs what?
I think he
19 more?
I think he has a shot at that, right? He has a shot at the Roger Maris number. Could get 62.
73. 20, what was it? No, 31 more in 60 games. That's a home run almost every other, more than a home run every other game.
One. I don't think he'll get to that one.
I mean, he already had a 52 home run season, second year of his career.
Yeah.
Which that was a tremendous year.
Yeah.
100. You got walked 127 times. He also struck out.
I don't know why the Red Sox didn't hang on to him. They had it.
He was in the farm system back in the day.
Yeah.
Same thing with Anthony Rizzo.
Yeah.
Both of them were in the farm system.
Guys.
Yeah. It's crazy to think the amount of players that you realize were on your team that you just let go out of your farm system.
They drafted those guys, or they picked them up in other ways.
I think from other ways, because it says here that Judge was drafted by the Oakland Athletics.
Judge was moved around to several teams before
I'm
he
sure
got
he
to
was.
the Yankees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he started his career age of 24 in 2016. That's the weird thing about the MLB. You start your career much later than other sports.
Yeah.
Football, especially basketball.
Takes a while.
Basketball, you start 19,
they say
18
it
years
takes
old.
1,200 at bats in the minors before you're ready to be considered for the
Really?
majors. That's I heard Terry Francona say that.
That's
1,200 at
ridiculous.
bats.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's crazy.
Then you're up there. You've had so many at bats. You don't worry about it too much when you go up there. I think you're probably pretty loose after you've had 1,200 at bats.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you don't care. Joey Gallo really seems to not care about it.
I'm not saying don't care, but I don't think that you're feeling too much stress from it.
You don't think Joey Gallo hears all the Yankees fans get mad at him? You're batting 160. Get out of here. There's a reason why he doesn't play anymore.
Yeah.
They bring him in when they're crushing teams now. He's batting 159 with 12 homers. I'm taking a look at his batting averages. He has never batted above 253 in his career. And he had 1 year. He only played.
He had a season where he had 30 homers, though, right?
Yeah. He had a few seasons. He had 3 seasons where he batted. He had 2 seasons that he had 40 homers.
Wow.
1 season with 38.
Wow.
Which was
Not
last
doing
year.
that. If you have 40 homers and you bat 200, that's okay. But
I mean, there was one
12
season.
homers and you bat 159. I don't think that's.
There's one
good.
season in 2016 he had
What teams was he on before he got to the Yankees?
Texans or the Texas Rangers. Sorry,
Yeah,
thinking
well,
football.
He's in a tougher division pitching wise with the American League East.
Well, I mean, when he faced the Red Sox, not so much.
Yeah, but
Bullpen
the other
sucks.
teams, Toronto has good pitching.
1 year in 2016, he played in
Tampa
17,
Bay has
17
very good
games.
pitching.
If I were to tell you Joey Gallo played in 17 games, what do you think his batting average would be, knowing him?
Playing what?
In 2016 for the Rangers, he played in 17 games.
That's all?
Yeah, I guess he got hurt or something. What do you think his batting average was?
91.
040.
040, huh?
040.
Nice.
I think we're going to wrap it up for this RVR unless you have anything to say. Any last remarks? Any last comments?
Have a great weekend, everyone.
There we go. For this RVR, we're going to wrap it up. We'll see you guys sometime later this week. I'm sure if more news breaks, we'll be back sooner than that. But for this RVR, we'll wrap it up. My name's Nathan Harvey. That's my dad, Stephen Harvey. We're the RVR. We will catch you guys next time.